Welcome to Blue Collar Podcast. I'm your host, Logan. Today I have my older brother, Matthew. How you doing today, Matthew?
Doing pretty good.
So kind of tell me where you're from, where you grew up, all that.
Well, you already know, but the audience doesn't know. But we grew up in Denham Springs. Originally, we grew up with Denham split into two sides, supposedly, like the north side and the south side. We grew up, well, first we started off on the south side and a subdivision called Shadow Springs. And then things happen, parents divorce or whatever. You know all this. So we moved with our mom to the north side, behind a little elementary school called Freshwater. Grew up there since second grade. For me, you were probably just starting school. It kind of worked out for me because moved into the same neighborhood one of my best friends live in. And we did that. And then the daycare in Denham called Animal Crackers. We grew up with a bunch of people from there. I'm still friends with a bunch of people today that we went to daycare with. Our friend Trevor, Chris, Taylor, Jacob, all them. Still friends with them today. It's been, maybe 30 years, maybe give or take, since we've been best friends. Grew up in Denham, not too far from the high school. You could hear the high school band play during football games and stuff. And Denham, went to Denham Junior High, and that's when I started playing football in 8th grade. I wasn't really good at it, but I started football to play, to lift weights. So that's the reason why I started playing football. And then 9th grade came around, played football there. Met my 4-year girlfriend in high school, all through high school with one girlfriend. 10th, 11th, 12th, played football. And in 10th grade, actually, it's where I found something I really liked, which was drafting. I did drafting 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Mr. Anderson. I know I thought it was funny too whenever I found out because of The Matrix. His mom grew up on Keanu Reeves, watching The Matrix and all kinds of stuff. But his name is Van Anderson. I think he's still alive today. I'm pretty sure he is. I met him. I saw him in Walmart a year ago or so and gave him his business card. But anyway, getting off topic. Played football, high school, drafting. I went to college for drafting. Never found a job in it. So decided to go work with our uncle at Stuck Coatings. Was Bayou Coating then. Me and my cousin Blake started at the same time. And or our cousin Blake started at the same time. And did that for 4 years and then went and worked at the water company for a couple years, and then went and worked with my friend Jacob for 2-3 years in the sewer department, sewer treatment plants, and I ran the pump truck.
And so after you worked at the sewer place with your friend Jacob, where'd you go work?
Went to a plumbing company. Oddly enough, he's my brother-in-law now, but his dad owns a plumbing company. I went and worked there. Learned basically how rough ends are, how trim outs are, how top outs are, how plumbing is actually done in new construction. And then that actually helped me out a lot. And so did the sewer place. It helped me out, learning the machines to unclog drains, how to fix things, how things are supposed to be ran, all that. It's hard not to get into specifics, but But yeah, so I went and worked for a plumbing company, and after that, I went to where I'm at now. Basically, it's another plumbing department in this company. This company's, pretty big in Baton Rouge. They sponsor LSU sometimes, or I think all the time. You can see their big billboard in the back of the baseball field. I know that. But they do AC, electrical, and plumbing. I'm on the plumbing side. Basically, I do drains there. Clear drains, put in camera transfers so we can get cameras out there to check out drains, because drains are not supposed to be clogged. They're not supposed to clog up. Then you got these order houses, that are built in the 60s and before it got, all kinds of different types of pipe. If it's not PVC, you're eventually going to have problems with it. You have problems with PVC too, but it's less likely. But cast iron, when it gets to, cast iron, say, put cast iron in a house in the 60s. You're looking at that's 60 years ago. Metal and water constantly running over it, even though it's got that tar coating on it. It washes that tar coating away. And eventually, especially if you put like drain cleaner down there or leave grease in the line and all that, and then, it deteriorates that pipe, and it what we call micro pits. The metal, what micro pit is, because you worked at Bayou Coating with us, you know how all that process works. But it acts like Velcro basically. It grabs all kinds of crap. People don't understand not to flush feminine products, not to flush flushable wipes, not to flush baby wipes. Some thick toilet paper gets caught, But if you have PVC, it's a little different, but still, if it's not put in right or put together right, it still cause problems. But basically, I go in and unclog them lines, run cameras through them. We find out what's wrong with them, and then we fix them. And that's basically what I do all day, every day.
All right, well, that's a lot to unpack. So let's get started with the beginning. So you said you grew up in Shadow Springs. Do you have any memories from living there?
Yeah, I still remember the address too. I remember it. We had a couple people that went to our daycare that lived in there.
Like who?
What's his
Didn't
name?
Kenny used to live there?
Kenny. I'm not gonna say last name. I remember his last name. And then another guy named Jared. We actually ended up playing soccer with him when we were younger. We did soccer when we were little. But yeah, that Shadow Springs, I remember how the house was. I remember always being scared of the neighbors' Rottweilers.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the big shed in the back. We used to ride our go-karts in circles, back there. And Daddy lived there for a good bit with his second wife and her two sons. And
you remember that time the Rottweilers got out and ran in our backyard? We all ran inside.
Yes, I remember that. That was something. It's terrifying, Now I look back at it. We were 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 when that was happening, and we're little, scared, to a big old dog, thinking it'd kill us or something or bite us. That was the worst thing. And then, I remember that. And I remember all kinds of stuff from Shadow Springs. I remember when Mom and Dad were still together, and oh man, there's so much stuff. So first things first, I remember I made Mama mad or something, and I ran away from her in the backyard because we used to think our backyard was huge. Look at it today, it's not that big, but when we were little, it was huge. But I made her mad, and I remember taking off, running in the backyard, her chasing me and stuff. And I was like, she's never going to catch me because I'm too fast for her. And eventually found out that, we got to go back inside sometime. And then she got me. And then I remember they were outside painting cabinets or priming cabinets or something to deal with cabinets. I remember under the back porch, they were doing something with cabinets. And I don't know what came across. I was young, hyperactive, stupid little kid. And he took them hurricane fences. They have the metal rods that go in to keep it from moving in and out. I took that out of the ground, and Dad had just planted some plum trees, and I knocked every leaf off of that plum tree with that metal rod. And I remember going to put that thing back in the gate and not thinking nothing of it. And then Daddy watched me the whole time while I did it. And I remember him ripping that tree out of the ground and beating me with it. It was just something, And I mean, we got Shadow Springs was pretty fun. I mean, I always thought I was going to go to the Southside Junior High, but it never happened because that happened, the divorce happened or whatever, and we moved to the north side of Denham, which started going to Freshwater Elementary, and then Denham Junior, Denham High, like that.
Well, you went to Southside Elementary for a couple of years.
Yeah, I went to Southside from kindergarten through second, and then midway through second grade, we switched to Freshwater. I repeated second grade again. I graduated 2010. I was supposed to graduate 2009. It's like I was the youngest person in my class at the beginning, and then ended up being one of the oldest persons in my class because couldn't read and comprehend. I mean, I still can't do that. I have to listen to Audible to actually learn and see it. I can't sit down and read a book. I can read the first paragraph and I'm like, whatever. I don't want to do that. No attention. I can't do it, And I couldn't tell you what was in that first paragraph either.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So after your parents got divorced, our parents got divorced, you left Shadow Springs, moved behind Freshwater. You said you lived by your best friend Taylor. Kind of tell me what that was like.
That was fun. I mean, shoot. Every weekend or every day after school, I had my best friend in the neighborhood. I would always go out, hang out with him, and, do all kinds of stuff. Play in the woods, build forts. I remember building forts all the time. Sometimes you'd go out there with us. We had this place called the Mini Grand Canyon in the back of the neighborhood. There was woods next to it. Now there's a big neighborhood built there. I mean, all those woods are gone. And what we called the Mini Grand Canyon because it was this big old massive 12-foot deep. It's like 12, 13-foot deep trench. And it had to have been at least 3 football fields wide. And about 7 football fields long, and it's 12 foot deep into the ground. And we would ride. Taylor always rode dirt bikes, and he would always have an extra dirt bike or four wheeler or whatever, and I would go ride with him. We'd go ride up and down in them woods, up and down the Grand Canyon, Mini Grand Canyon, and all that. We'd do all that. It was pretty fun when we did that for a long time. And then I remember in 6th grade. First day of 6th grade, I saw this kid riding his bike. Riding his bike next to his sister walking to school to Freshwater because, we could walk to elementary school. We walked to elementary school and then walked back. It was back and forth. If we weren't going to daycare, we were going back and forth. The school was football field away from us, if that. And I remember seeing him riding his bike, and I was like, huh. And beginning of 6th grade, that's when all the elementary schools go together to go into the junior high that are on that side. And, ended up becoming best friends with Dylan. Dylan's whenever I met him, Taylor was friends with him first. Was talking to him, said, hey, we live in the same neighborhood. You can come hang out with us. But I got another friend, Matt. He lives right by you. Dylan, literally, we lived right there in them woods. And then there was like 2-3 lots of woods. And then at the end of that lot was Dylan's house across the street. And then a little further down was Taylor's house around a little curve. And we used to do that all the time. Hung out all the time. 6th grade was a blast. 6th grade to 7th grade summer was a blast. We did all kinds of stuff. That's when we started getting into skating and stuff. And what else there is. There's just so much to say, you know.
Well, tell me about going to daycare with all your friends. So how'd you meet all them?
Daycare, I mean, during the summer is what we looked forward to. Especially as we got older, Taylor's aunt owned the daycare. And basically Taylor and me used to sneak around getting snacks everywhere. Everybody's outside playing in the heat. We're running inside, drinking Coke, just eating snacks and stuff, and watching TV. And then during the summer, we would go to a place called KOA that's over there in Tenham that we would go to and swim. And that's how I learned how to swim, because one of my other friends, Jacob, pushed me in the deep end. And it was either sink or swim, so I learned how to swim real easy. Well, not easy, but the hard way. That's what kids are missing these days, learning things the hard way. And but anyway, did that. Going to bowling putt. I remember one time you got in so much trouble when Mama showed up to bowling putt. Like, if Mama ever showed up to wherever we were and we got in trouble, that was it. Like, you're dead. Like, you're dead. We knew what was coming. You just had to accept the fact, and it was it. And I remember her showing up. I was like, I know I didn't do nothing wrong. And then I realized she was chasing you, and I'm like, whew, thank God it's not me, you know? And I remember you got a whipping in front of everybody. Speaking of that, when we were a little younger, Mama was pushing you around in the buggy, and I always say she tackled me like a linebacker, but she really tripped over herself trying to get to me and ended up falling on top of me. But I always say she tackled me. But it's a joke that we say. But because I flipped the buggy, and Logan was in the buggy, and because I was a wild little kid, like I didn't listen. I still don't listen, but I know better now. I do what I want, but you know, I know what's right from wrong. And I flipped the buggy on Logan, and when she gets mad, you know, she starts like red in her eyes. She starts charging after you. Well, she ended up tripping over herself and falling on me. And it's in the middle of a grocery store, and everybody's watching. And it's, I mean, you look back on it now, it's funny, but then it's like, oh my God, my mom just tackled me like a linebacker in the grocery store. It's just, my mom didn't care. She don't get embarrassed, nothing like that. She don't care. She'll whoop you anywhere, you know. And
why did she come to bowling putt to get me? I don't even know what I did.
I couldn't remember. I can't remember. I don't know what you did. I have no clue. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't remember. That's too long ago. That I'm 33, and we were probably what, 9.
Yeah,
10.
I remember one time she showed up at daycare with a stick, and she was like, "Gave me an ass whooping."
Yeah, and we did all kinds of crazy stuff. And when we moved into what was it? Whenever before we moved behind Freshwater, I remember Mom living in Baker for like a month or two with her friend. I remember that, and this is when she met Mr. Mack, and I remember Mr. Mack. I remember the first time meeting Brooke and Brittany, our sisters. We were young. We had to have been like 7, 8 years old. Well, I was, and Brittany's 4 years older than I am, and me and Brooke are the same age. I mean, I'm a couple months older than her, but yeah, I remember that, and then us moving and behind Freshwater and doing that, and Dad moved to Ponchatoula. I remember, it's so much stuff.
When you went to daycare, y'all went to bowling putt, and how'd you meet all your friends at daycare?
Just daycare. I mean, they all went to daycare. They all went there. Taylor was probably the first one. Most likely was the first one, because me and him have been best friends since I can remember. Like, he's always been there. I mean, I remember finding a picture of us. Like, I had to have been like 4, and him, his age, he's almost a year younger than I am, and he was 3 and I was 4. I remember a picture of us together, then, and I'm pretty sure we were friends before then. That picture, but it's just because our Aunt Mandy worked at the daycare, and we were in the toddler room together, and Chris as well. I don't know if Trevor was there then or not, but Trevor came soon after. So, and Jacob as well. Jacob's the oldest one out of us. Then it's Chris. Then it's me. Then it's Trevor. And then Taylor. Then yeah, it was fun. They were always there. I couldn't remember a time when they weren't there.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was, That's how young we were. And we're still friends today, Still hang out today. Still talk to each other today. Like, Trevor's getting married, and he has a son. I'm married. I have a son, but we'll get into that later. Chris is married, and he has a daughter. And actually 2 daughters. Jacob's engaged right now. And Taylor and Dylan, Taylor, he's doing his own thing. So, like that. But yeah, we still talk today. Obviously we made Dylan became one of my best friends, like in 6th grade. And then there's another guy, Colin, that I became friends with right after I graduated high school, that I'm still friends with today. Been out of high school for I've been out of high school for 15 years, or 14 years. Yeah, 14 years. But, yeah.
So when you left, and we got out of daycare, went to junior high. Tell me about playing football in junior high.
Well, I didn't start playing football in junior high until 8th grade. I did football and track in 8th grade, but 6th and 7th grade, I was a little scrawny little kid, I was taking medication for ADHD, I made bad grades still. But that medication made you feel like a zombie. That's why I was so small, because I didn't eat, And now I eat a lot. I'm fat. But anyway, yeah, I was small. I remember one time, I'll never forget, when I started playing football in 8th grade. I'll never forget this. There's this one girl. I remember her first name, but I don't remember her last. Oh, yeah, I remember her. I remember her last name too. I remember walking in that first day in 8th grade, and with a football jersey on, because we have a game that day. And they're like, they let you on the team, I was a little bit old, scrawny little kid. I played cornerback, the junior high. As my football career progressed in position, because the bigger I got, the slower I got, But yeah, I played cornerback 8th grade year.
So you said you're playing in 8th grade, and then
went to 9th grade. Since I played football in 8th grade, and I automatically was on the team in 9th grade. Didn't have to try out. I remember these 2 girls trying out, because Denham Junior High, Denham was split, like I said. They had the south side, then they had the north side. Well, the north side was Denham Junior High. The south side was Southside Junior High. Now there's 3 junior highs? Jubin, Southside, and Denham. But anyway,
my wife's brother went to junior high. The Jubin Junior High.
Yeah. And Brooke went to Southside.
Yeah, she went to Southside.
Yeah. And
with Mitchell in there.
But Southside had a girl playing football as a running back. Her name was Bunny, and I remember Bunny because I went to elementary school with her. We were in the same kindergarten class or first grade class, and she remembered me too. Whenever we met in 9th grade, I remember a bunch of people from whenever I was going to South Side. There was a bunch of people like Samson, Bunny, Jared, because he was obviously in the neighborhood. There's a couple other people that I remember being friends with in Southside Elementary and meeting them again in 9th grade. It was like hey, remember me? We used to be friends all the time in elementary school. We went our separate ways, whatever. I went to a different elementary school, and we met back up again in junior high. Well, anyway, obviously 9th grade. Junior high is a little different because junior high boys aren't developed like they are in high school, And so girls are pretty much even, kind of, in junior high. So she was a running back, and she was a good running back, And Southside was the team to beat in Livingston Parish, junior high. And I remember junior high, there was this one guy, because my 8th grade year was actually Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina came through my 8th grade year. And I remember a guy named Seth came in to junior high.
That's that big tall dude?
Yeah.
I remember him.
And he's not big tall now.
Back then,
I'm taller than him now.
Tall.
Yeah. I guess he developed earlier and faster than all of us. But yeah, so he came in. He was from Sulphur, and he came in, and when we had him as a running back, like, Denham was unstoppable then, But halfway, it was funny because at the beginning of our football, we lost 2 games, and then when Seth came in, like, we won every other game but Southside game, and that was so close. The Southside won every game, But anyway, yeah. So that happened.
Before we get to high school, when you were in 8th grade, didn't your little brother come in 6th grade? What was that like?
Oh yeah, when you were in 6th grade, I would see you walking the halls and stuff, and really not much different because we didn't really see each other that much. We rode the bus home maybe together, and stuff like that. But it's so far back now. It's like I don't remember what it was like with you being there. I just don't. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, we going to the same school and stuff, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
I remember you trying out for football. What was it? Your 8th grade year?
6th grade.
6th grade year? Was it your 6th grade year?
I tried it the spring, whatever.
Spring training and all that. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know why you didn't. Why didn't you play?
That was horrible. Just sat inside and played video games all the time. I couldn't run.
Yeah, that was the thing, I was always outside. You were always inside. And when Mama punished us, they swapped places. She made me stay inside and put you outside. And it's just how it was. But yeah. It was. I can't remember, I can't remember. I remember certain things about junior high, but it's just like you being there. I knew you were there. It's just I don't remember too much about us always meeting up or anything like that. But
I remember I would always hear this everywhere I go. Are you Matt's brother? Like, yeah. Okay. I play football with him. Okay.
Yeah.
I play video games. What's that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you heard that a while. But
so then you went to the freshman high, started playing football.
Yeah, went to freshman high, started playing football. That's where I met technically first girlfriend or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I was 15. Yep.
Didn't y'all meet at a dance or homecoming?
No, I had a friend that played football with us, and he introduced us at a dance. Yeah, at a dance. And this is where we met and did all that. And then we were boyfriend and girlfriend all through high school. The 12th grade year was a little different. It was on and off 12th grade year because, it was, I don't know, I guess it was getting old. I don't know. How would you say that? I was young and dumb. My 12th grade year, I was 18 years old. And it was just like, young and dumb, It was off and on, and I met another girl, and in 12th grade. You know, talked to her for a little bit. But
Is that the one that used to come up to me all the
serious.
time and talk to me? Like we were best friends or something? Is that the same girl?
Yeah, probably. But
There was a bunch of them used to come up to me and say, "Oh, you Matt's brother?" I said,
yeah. It was something else.
Too many to count.
I can tell you some stories that happened to me in 12th grade that I can't say public knows. I can tell you off the thing, but
off the record.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, high school was high school. You know, I loved it. And I played football. All I knew was football. You know, football, this, that. I mean, I wasn't that good at football. I just liked it to weight lift and stuff. And my senior year, I actually tried, and I started. Ninth grade, eighth grade, I was a cornerback. Ninth grade, I was a linebacker. And 10th grade year, I didn't play because I broke my wrist, and I had to have surgery on it, so I couldn't play. No contact or whatever, because I had pins in my wrist. And then 11th grade, I moved to D-line. And then went from D-line to 11th grade and D-line in 12th grade. And that was one of my best times of life, you know, was in high school, you know. And
what was the Friday Night Lights? What was that really like? Somebody was there?
It was different. Like, it's like sometimes, like, whenever, like, it depends. Like, it depends on where you're at. Like, if you're sitting on the sideline for offense to go, I mean, you're sitting there watching it. I mean, you can start hearing the people around you, you know. But once you get on that field, it's like everything just, you don't pay attention to the crowd. Like, the crowd goes away. Like, it's like this. And then, like, during kickoff, you would hear the crowd every now and then, because I played kickoff return. I was the front center guy setting the wedge. And we had a couple other good guys, you know. They had always had this guy in the back. There was two guys. You actually graduated with one of them, Reggie Doughboy. And then the other guy graduated with me, Taylor Warburton, or Taylor. Yeah. Different Taylor. And these guys were fast. Like, they were so fast. It's like I felt like I was in the way because they were running up behind me so quick. I just got out the way so they could pass me up. And I remember my senior year, what was it? We had some funny stories in high school too. ADHD. I remember other things that we used to do in high school. You were in ninth grade when I was a senior, so you had got, I guess, held back.
I failed ninth grade.
Yeah, you failed the ninth grade, and you did ninth grade twice. But you eventually got to skip 10th grade and went straight to 11th.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How was it like having me and Mama? We went to every game you ever went.
Yeah, I know. I remember you and Mama always going to every game, and I always remember that, you know. And I was happy that y'all were there. But yeah, sometimes it's like, you know, you got to think how our mom is. Our mom's loud.
Did she ever embarrass you?
My mom will embarrass you, you know. I put it this way: if she would embarrass a whore in a whorehouse, you know. But no, I loved it. You know, I look back at it now. It's like, man, I'm so thankful for it. You know. But yeah, I would hear her, "Go Matthew!" You know, and I'd look up at the stands and I'm like, "Shut up!" You know, stop. You know, I don't need people doing that. No, just stop. And she wouldn't listen. She'd do it anyway.
There wasn't no scouts out there, Matthew.
Yeah, I know that, but it's I don't need everybody knowing that you're yelling my name. But yeah, so
that jersey number kind of stuck with you for kind of the rest of your life.
Yeah, 48. Well, junior high I was 16. My freshman high I was 41. And then sophomore, junior, and senior, I was 48. Well, the significance with 48 is that was our dad's football number. He played running back in high school. And back in that time, and they played running back, he was from Ville Platte, so their first language was French. So they used to call their football plays in French, so the other teams wouldn't know what they were doing. This is the stories he's telling me, and I remember he was a good running back, and then there was this college McNeese offered him, to come play, but he couldn't go play because his dad didn't understand English. His dad thought English was sarcasm, thought someone was being a smart or something speaking in English. He used to tell us that every time he'd go home, he had to speak French, and every time he'd go to school, he had to speak English. And if he didn't speak English in school, he used to get paddling. And if he didn't speak French at home, same thing. Dad thought he was being a smart aleck and got a paddling. And but anyway, Paul Ball played running back or fullback, and his number was 48, and so that's why I chose that number. And I played fullback maybe for like 2 weeks.
How'd you get the name Foobird? Where that came from?
Foobird, that's from Dylan.
Oh, Dylan.
So that's from Dylan. Dylan, we always did all kinds of crazy stuff. We still in high school era, right? So I got to tell the story. I get my first car driving, and you were riding with me. I remember we used to cut up all the time. I remember I was like, watch this, and saw a girl running on the side. You remember running on the side of the road, and I would act like I swerved to her, honk the horn, and scream, and she jumped 10 feet in the air. It's like we did stupid stuff like that. I know it was stupid and dangerous then, but it's funny now. Like I still laugh to this day about stuff like that. Foodbird came from my friend Dylan. Actually, there was a little kid that lived next door to Dylan. His name was Bubba. That's what we called him. And he was like 2 or 3, and I was telling him my name. He goes, Matthew. He couldn't say Matthew. He said Matthew. And Dylan just started calling me Foo, And then all of our friends in high school, like Lindsay, Megan, Mark, other people that we were friends with in high school who used to call me Foo. And that's just, it stuck. And then Dylan just said Foo Bird one time. And that's how it began then. And that's always stuck. And I made that my gamer tag for Xbox and all kinds of stuff. Now I just use it all the time, like my Instagram's that.
Yeah.
The gamer tag, anything in the game, like Elite Dangerous is Commander Foobird. But that's just how that became. It's just
okay.
That's how that happened.
So once high school was all said and done, you finished football. What did you do after that? You went to college?
Yeah, I went to college for drafting. What's funny is out of all the years of playing football, other than my wrist, but my knees never really got hurt or anything like that. I'd go messing around at my friend's house, jump in his driveway to see who could jump the furthest, and snap my ACL and my meniscus in my left knee. And then my first semester of college, I was hobbling around on crutches because I had just had surgery. And I was also working at Stuck Coatings or Bayou Coatings at the time too. And but I had an easy job then. I was just a spin-off guy at the end of the run, where you spun the pipe off and it's already coated and everything, and just inspection rack. But
tell me about college. Like what all you did there? It was just basic school.
It was just basic school, math stuff. Drafting, learning different design, how to draft, and he's basically getting a diploma in.
You said Mr. Anderson got you into drafting. Tell me about him, like what he did to make you.
I don't know. Drafting his class was cool. Mr. Anderson was real with you. He wasn't strict, but he was like stern. Like, hey, this needs to be done. But if you needed help, like he would help you anytime. Like my 12th grade senior project is I designed a 2,500 square foot beach house, and then we actually built it scale model, like 1/60th scale. It was like 2 foot wide and 4 foot long, built that. But yeah, he taught us all kinds of stuff, like 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Like that was my favorite class to go to, because my senior year we actually got to go on like field trips, but by ourselves. Like it was classmates, and I remember me and Brandon, but me and him were, basically the two head guys in drafting, and we went on field trips. Like Mr. Anderson let us go to new construction houses and stuff. He said, go find some neighborhoods that are being built, basically. And that's what we did. Like, we respected that. We knew we weren't supposed to go fart around with any other thing. We went straight there. We learned, we looked, learned, took pictures, and came back. That's how much we respected Mr. Anderson. Like, that's always stuck with me. And he was just cool like that. I don't know what he did that was different than every other teacher, because like every other teacher is like, feels like they got their thumb on you, you can't do anything or you're going to get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Anderson would just sit you to the side and say, look, well, why'd you do that, Well, then maybe next time, let's talk about this, how we can do it differently or whatever. And I think that helped a lot. But drafting was fun. Like, I always liked it. Like, when I was a little kid, I mean, I always had that binder and that grafting paper. I would draw all kinds of things in there. Like, it was funny because I see it commercials. Like, man, I thought about this when I was a little kid. Like, basically, it's a sprinkler for your fire system, and it senses heat. Like, it senses a fire, and it points directly at it, and then shoots a stream of water at it, or extinguisher stuff at it, or whatever. And I remember designing that and calling, the little commercials, if you invent something, call us, and blah, blah, blah. It's the caveman with the wheel. Mm-hmm. And I called them. I said, yeah, I think I have an invention. It's a sprinkler, fire sprinkler, but it has a heat sense on it, and it directs itself towards the fire, and it shoots at it, and extinguishes the fire. But I was too young, and I didn't know how to go about all that. And I see it today. Like, I saw a commercial about it, or saw something about it, an ad maybe on Facebook or something. And but I thought that was pretty. I was always drawing stuff when I was little. I was always doodling around. If I wasn't hanging out with my friends, playing in the woods, building forts and stuff, I was doing that or playing video games.
Yeah.
That's what got me into drafting, and then went to college for it. Learned some more stuff. Never got a job in drafting. Never did. I mean, as I graduated college, I actually had another girlfriend that I met through my cousin Blake, and he was dating this girl, which is, that's a different situation right now. I mean, it's still his wife. But, I don't know if y'all know, but Blake passed on like a year or so ago. But, so his wife and now my ex-wife, that's when they were friends, or maybe still are friends. But that's how I met her. And then I didn't pursue any more college and drafting because I ended up having a kid, ended up having our son, which is 10 now, almost 11. And that's where the next chapter in my life started. Eventually getting married to her and doing that, and that didn't work out. So we divorced, and all kinds of things in life changed during that. I changed as a person. And on top of that, like the first day me and my son's mom went on our first date, our grandpa died, the one that me and him shared the same number. I was 19 at the time, so it was a year after high school. He died. That changed me. I felt guilty, never going to see him or anything like that because young and dumb, you're not worried about, people passing on. You're always going to be there, blah, blah, blah. No, that doesn't happen, Changed me as a person, and then I'm pretty sure that's what helped ruin our relationship, like me and my ex-wife's relationship or whatever. Then basically did go through that process, and after doing that, I started going to church again, and that's where they had this group called 2030. I found out my friend Mason was going there. I've been knowing Mason since 9th grade in high school. Played football with him. Another guy, Brandon. Another guy, it's a different guy than the drafting guy. Played football with him. Another guy named Jonathan played football with him. Another guy, Jordan. They all went to this 2030. And so I started going. And that's how I met my wife now, through Mason's sister. Not Mason's sister. Mason's wife. So Mason's wife is my wife's sister. So me and Mason are brother-in-laws now. And that's how I met my wife. That's where we're at now,
Yeah, what's that like, having a new wife now?
Well, when you get married, you got to make sure you find the right one, I think my first marriage was just because I thought it was the right thing to do, And then obviously I did stupid stuff. Like I was mean then or whatever. There's guilt, Not no offense to her, I didn't show her enough attention like I was supposed to, maybe. But things happen. People grow apart. Things happen, and then eventually you gotta get a divorce. So to make things right, because I didn't want to. She wants to move on. I want to move on, And then so I got a new wife now. Thought I'd never get married again, but I got married again. This one's amazing. She takes, believe it or not, she asked me out through Facebook Messenger. She's like, just slide in your DMs to get to know you better and all that. And then, that's how we started dating. Actually, today is the anniversary of our 5 years. Or like 5 years ago today is when we went on our first date.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. 5 years ago today. Yeah.
Hopefully I can get her on here one day.
Today's the 4th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years today.
Yeah, hopefully I can get her on here. Y'all both do one.
Yeah.
Do an episode.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of stuff to tell you. She grew up. I'll let her tell you, but I go briefly over it. She grew up in Texas because her dad was in the Army, and then her family's from Arkansas, and then she moved down to Gonzales and stuff, and she's a nurse now. She's at school now for nurse practitioner. But yeah. Yeah.
So to get back to the blue collar part of it, you said you started working at a pipe mill?
Yeah. So
you were 18, fresh out of high school?
Fresh out of high school. Actually, I was 18 when I graduated high school, which was in May, and my birthday's in June. So I turned 19 in June, but I started when I was 18. I think my first day was like June 1st. Before
that, I know you worked at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I
worked at Carter's. It was a little grocery store. And then
one of the best things about you working at McDonald's is when they had that Monopoly game. You used to come home with
stacks
stacks
of that thing. Yeah,
and
stack Monopoly stuff and have all that. That was in high school. I had a job at Carter's first because Pawpaw got me that job because Mama was a nurse. Technically still is a nurse, but she's not practicing anymore. But she's retired. Say that. But she worked with a woman, and her husband was one of the managers at Carter's. And so they got me a job doing that. I was a stock boy, learned how to, run the butcher place and stock shelves and stuff. And then my friend Taylor, that I grew up with, he got a job at McDonald's, and he said, "Man, I get paid more than you. It's so much fun over there, blah, blah, blah." I mean, young. What was I? Oh, was I 16 maybe? Had to have been 16.
Yeah, 16 because you were driving.
Yeah, 16, and yeah, I mean, we went to work there. Did that for, I think, all through high school. I think I worked at McDonald's all through high school, and after that, I started working at.
That's when you went to the pipe mill?
That's when I went to the pipe mill. So Uncle Timmy was head guy over there, one of the head guys over there at least, and did that for 4 years.
What was that like over there?
Well, I mean, it's different environment. It's a plant, I mean, it's a pipe mill. Like, they bring in steel rolls off of rail cars, and they make pipes for them. Like, they built part of the Alaska pipeline. Them types of pipes. What they did is this big steel, and it's raw steel. So Stupp, I mean, you could probably explain Stupp more because that's where you went to. Stupp brings it in, and they mold it to a pipe, weld it together or whatever. It goes through its process over there. By the time it gets to us, it's a put together pipe. It's already beveled and everything, and it's a put together pipe. Like, it's all that needs to be is blasted and coated. When it gets to us. And they would load it in on these huge forklifts. I thought they were pretty cool and everything. I ended up getting to operate them. That's like later on in my career.
When you got there, you went from working around teenagers to working around grown men.
Working around grown men. Come to find out, all these grown men grew up with our dad. Worked with our dad, and from the same place in Maryland. And it was pretty cool because everybody thought I was daddy with a lot of hair, because back then I used to have long hair. Used to have a lot of hair, and I don't have any hair now. But yeah, it was a different environment. Like, it was serious. It was like serious stuff, because I mean, you could hear the stories. People have died over there. People have gotten their fingers cut off. People have lost hands. I mean, people have been smushed by them pipes. And yeah, so. I mean, it was different. I mean, when we got hired on, we actually got hired on to the company. I didn't know that people used to have to go through temp services to actually get hired on there. And I guess, I don't know what you'd call it.
Rubbed in the wrong way?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I was the general manager's nephew. And then his son also worked there as well, in the Wheelabrator room. So Wheelabrator, anyway, we'll get to that part. So the process is they bring them steel pipes on there. They run them through a Wheelabrator, which Wheelabrator is like this big old shot machine. Like, you pour in a bunch of shot, like steel BBs, like gunshot, like bird shot.
Yeah.
Like bird shot out of a shotgun shell. And it's like thousands of pounds of that they dump in this machine. And they send it and they whip it around, with these, what was it, magnesium plates maybe? Because they had to change them plates out every now and then.
I can't remember what they were, but I remember changing them.
And it would sling them around and make micro pits in the pipes. And then they would have an inspection rack on there. They would look at them, and if something was a little, like, burrs on them, they would grind them burrs off and stuff. And then it'd go down into these furnaces. Well, it was a furnace first, then shot, then inspection. Then there was the acid wash. Then they would wash it down with acid and stuff. And then they'd send it through these furnaces. And as it goes through these furnaces, it heats up to a certain degree. I couldn't tell you the degree. I'm pretty sure you know it. But they'd send it through there, and then it's called, what do they call it, electromagnetic powder or something like that.
Fusion bond epoxy?
Yeah, fusion, yeah. Basically, the rotation of the pipe is creating a negative charge on the pipe, and it's so hot, and then they air blast this fine powder onto the pipe, and magnetically sticks, so I guess somehow, and then it solidifies to it, and all the micro pits grab that epoxy, and then it'd come down to us and go through the big old. They used to have this big old steam, this big old water tower in the back that the water. It was like a big radiator. The water would come down, cool off, and then it would pump it in, and cool the pipe off and stuff. And then it'd get to us, and they had this little electric magnetic wand over it. It would go down and basically run the whole length of the pipe. And if there was any imperfections, they would call a Jeep. Beep. And keep going. And then it would mark a little mark on the pipe and go. And what I did was, at the end of that process, I spun the pipe off to speed it up to get it out of the way, because this is constantly rolling. Like, these pipes didn't stop unless something happened, or we were shutting down or whatever. And these pipes constantly rolled.
Or somebody runs over some power lines,
Yeah, I did that too. And we'll get to that later. Well, anyway, I had to speed it up. At the end, you could speed the tires up and make the pipe move faster, and then slow down. I mean, you're a good distance away from the other pipe, but that pipe's still coming. You had to hurry up and get it off at the right time, and then pop it off onto the rack, and then it would roll on. And then the pipes were connected by couplings. It was like, basically one side was like a bowl, and it'd fit perfectly inside that other pipe to keep them together as they're rolling. But you speed it up, kick it off. They had these guys, big old conveyor belt. I remember conveyor belt going around with hooks on it. They'd take the couplings off, put it on that hook, and they'd just go around all the way through the shop and back to the inbound. Mm-hmm. And they would take the couplings off the hook, put them back on the new pipe, and then they would keep that process going. But anyway, it'd get down there, if it had a Jeep on it or whatever, and they'd find it with this electromagnetic wand. About that wand, I remember one time I was dumb, and we were doing what do they call that thick coating, like the slow
ARO.
Yeah, ARO. And it's like these pipes would go slow. Like, we used to do 36 inch, 42 inch ARO pipe, that black coating. It was brown and then black. And these pipes it would be like 15 minutes a pipe, if that. I mean, if more, 20 minutes a pipe. And these pipes would just go through like so slow. Like, it's just basically getting paid to sit there and watch this pipe slowly come down the line. Anyway, we were doing those pipes, and you would check the Jeeps on it. So you had to turn the voltage up on the wand to find the Jeep. Well, my idiot self was, you're walking on a metal rack. Obviously, you have boots on, but that didn't help. And I went by and I slapped that wand, that rubber piece, and it went, and I just blacked out and hit the ground. It's like, oh, I'll never do that again. But yeah, stuff like that. And then once did that for a year or two, I wanted to move up and make more money, so I decided to become an operator. And the operators, the ones that actually no, I went to Tallyman next. So I went, so at the end of the line, there's barcodes on the pipe. You scan them in with this little gun, and you have to mark how many Jeeps they have, and you're the one putting the red band around them unless to go to get them patched, or, there's all kinds of stuff. You get them patched, you get them repaired, you get them, they need to re-beveled and all that. It's a whole process. There's just so much more things that go in between that as well, because whenever they roll off, they got these meal guys that go there and check the meals, how thick the coating is, and make sure it's the right meals and stuff. And then it's a process, They go through, they got grinders that grind both the ends of the pipe to make them flat or whatever, and then gets down to the tallyman, he does his thing, and then the operators come and pick it up. Well, I was a tallyman for about a year and a half, and I wanted to move up even more, so I became an operator. And what we did is, the tire is taller than me. I'm 6 foot tall. The tire is taller than I am. And so it's like a a front end loader, but they took the bucket off and added forks and clamps on it. So you'd go in, grab the pipe, clamp it, bring it back up, and then towed it around to the rack. Well, that's what I did when I first started that. It was terrifying the first time I tipped that machine over because of all them heavy pipe, all them heavy pipe. And it's just did that, toting it around, and then it's crazy because you just tote it around and you put it on the rack or the rail cars, and it's these finished coated pipe. You bring it to a certain rack to get it fixed, or a certain rack to get it cut, or a certain rack to store it. I forgot I ran the shuttle wagon before I was an operator. So I was in like this little shuttle wagon which moves rail cars around on the rails, and that's what I did a while. So basically, the first year I was a spin-off guy. Second year I was a tally man. Third year I was a shuttle wagon guy. And my fourth year I was the operator. And did that. But anyway, yeah, we did all that. All kinds of stuff. It was a different environment, and you had to learn, like, it ain't no sunshines and daisies, out there in life. This is real stuff. And this is hard work, But yeah. Then I moved on.
You worked around a bunch of inmates over there too.
Yeah. So basically, they did what they called work release program, and you came in. I think I was a tally man when you came in, huh?
You were working with Wolf. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I was a tally man. And you came in for quality control, right?
Yeah.
Did you only do quality control over there?
I did quality for about 6 years. No, I did quality for about 4 years.
You started off at quality control.
Yeah. Then I went to I ran the Willibrators. Then I went to the coding line, ran the coding line. Yeah. Then the new QC manager wanted me back in quality, so I was like the lead man in quality over there.
Yeah, did that. And then, anyway, these inmates, they were in there. I don't know work release, if anybody's familiar with that. These inmates, I guess they're about to get out, but they come and do work, earn a little money and stuff, and it's like a trade-off. Like, we get extra hands to help us, and they actually get paid. I guess they have their own business. I don't know how that works. I just know that they're in, like, I guess, a halfway house maybe, or they're actually like in a different part of the prison or something, or jail. I don't know, because I've never been in jail, never been in prison, never done any of that. But anyway, all kinds of characters would come through there. There was just one guy named Q, I remember. He went to Southern, and he was a Q dog. I guess that's part of their sorority, or what do you call that? Not sorority.
Frat.
Their frat. Fraternity. Yeah, fraternity for men. And we call him Q. These guys, come from all different walks of life and stuff. And they had like this one guy, he looked like a kid, and I was like, man, this dude, I was messing with him. I don't remember his real name, but I was messing with you. And I was like, man, that kid named Pee Wee right there. He's Pee Wee. And I remember sitting up there messing around, and you come walking out. I was like, hey, Pee Wee! and you just looked at me, and we just both started busting out laughing. And it was some fun times, I turned 21 when I was working there, and I went and bought my first beer.
I remember that. I remember we had work going there.
We had got off at 1 o'clock in the morning, and the store was closing at 2. So I went and ran and got me a Samuel Adams, worst beer I ever tasted in my life. I don't know. I might like it now, but when I was 21, probably not. No, I didn't like it. I drink Guinness now. Ever since I've been to Ireland. We'll get into that. Yeah, did that. And then moved on. Did Baton Rouge Water, or I worked at a water company for Baton Rouge, and did hot taps learned that process of how that works. And that's actually how the place where I learned to operate machinery like a Traco and all that. And we made live taps on mains and ran water meter boxes and then fixed mains that popped or fixed lines and all kinds of stuff for them. And then I moved on to, I worked at a dealership for like 8 months, changing oil and stuff. And
you worked there with Colin?
Yeah, worked there with Colin. So I met Colin. So after high school, I tore my ACL and meniscus or whatever, had the surgery. And during high school, like my friends Chris and Trevor and Jacob, they were a grade above me. We were all in the same grade until second grade when I had to repeat second grade. And they were a grade above me. They had all graduated already. So Colin was Chris's stepbrother. But I don't know if he was his stepbrother at that time when I met him. I think it was after that. I think he was his stepbrother before I met Colin. But anyway, I met Colin at Chris's house, Chris's mom's house. Chris and Colin and Jacob were all staying there together, and I met him, and I've been knowing him since I graduated high school. You know, me and Colin are good friends. I mean, we work together at a lot of places. Speaking of the place I'm at now, he used to work there. He actually went back to another job to make more money like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. No, it was a week ago. Yeah, because last week was the first week without him. But yeah, met Colin there. Been knowing him for 14 years now. Been knowing all kinds of people for a long time, you know. That's how I am. Like my friend group, you know, it's very small. And that's how I like it. I like meeting new people. It's all cool and everything, but it's just, you know, it's just different with my friend group that I have now. But yeah.
That's about it. I just want to hopefully one day we can get all your friends on here, like Trevor, Chris, Taylor, Jacob. Yeah. I had offered Jacob, but he never got back with me, so I don't know if he's busy.
He's busy. He's running a business right now.
Yeah, I want to get him on here to talk about that.
He's running a bunch of businesses. He actually got a couple condos in Tampa that he owns, Airbnbs and all that. But Trevor owns his online business, you know. Chris does his thing. Colin does his thing. Dylan and Taylor do their things, you know. And, yeah, that made it pretty cool. I mean, when Madison gets on here one day, she'll be able to tell you her story and stuff. I mean, I think it's interesting with her story. She's got a lot to tell you. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, that's it for me that I like to share or whatever. Other than, you know, I like to say that I'm Italian. We're both Italian. I like being proud to be Italian, but you know, only half. But yeah. Other than that,
thank you for coming on, and
yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Thank you for doing this. You know, I'm trying to get this thing going, and hopefully it takes off one day. You know.
Yeah. I'm
trying to get as many people as I can on here. You know.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a story.
I'm one of your followers. I watch every one of your videos and stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch this one. And I'm going to watch this one and I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I sound like that or I did that or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, you know.
Well, I'm hoping like getting you on here and get other people inspired to come on here.
Yeah.
You know. But I will say this. We are in a new room. That's why it looks different. Because the old office is getting remodeled right now. So that's why we're in here. But I want to say thank you for coming on and thank you for doing this. And
yeah. You know. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams. Do whatever you think's best for your family. Don't care about what, you know, the way I think about it is if you think that's best for your family, do it. Don't worry about hurting people's feelings because, you know, holding yourself back. Don't hold yourself back. I made those mistakes in my life. There's things I will always wanted to do, you know, chase your dreams, you know, never stop dreaming. So when you stop dreaming, that's it. But anyway, yeah, that's about it.
Thank y'all for watching.
Blue Collar Podcast.